and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Taddia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Taddia.
All right, welcome to another edition of Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here and being a part of our True Form Life community. And oh boy, do I have a great interview today. Now I'm bringing on Mila Maxwell. We have so much in common. She's from Simply for Life in Sussex, New Brunswick. And today we're basically going to bust a whole bunch of myths around the fitness industry, health and wellness industry regarding why counting calories doesn't work, why the BMI test is something you should stay away from, and more topics and ideas like that, because again, there's so much that we agree on. It was so great to sit across from Mila and talk to her and just share some insights and ideas on why things don't exactly work out the way we think they might. But we'll get into those details as we get through the show. But I'm so happy you're here with us. I know you're going to enjoy this one, so sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Taddia.
All right, welcome to another edition of Exploring Mind and Body. We are here with Mila Maxwell, so without further ado, welcome to the show, Mila.
I think me getting into this industry was kind of a fluke, if I look back. I think I would have gotten into it at one point or another in my life, but it just kind of happened the way it happened. I was a graphic designer in Moncton. I really was struggling at my job. It was stressful. And even when I was working there, people were kind of commenting on the things that I was eating, and that had kind of changed a few years before when I was in university, just really not feeling well, having skin problems, a lot of acne. And I said, you know what, I'm going to look into my diet and see what I'm eating to see if that's going to change kind of the way I'm feeling and the way my skin feels and looks. So really changing my diet really helped me feel better by eliminating sugar and all the junk. And so anyway, I was laid off back in the early winter of 2012, and a few months later, I got in touch with the previous owners of Simply for Life. We just hadn't met them years before through mutual friends, and I was teaching classes with her, and one day in about May, she asked if I knew of anyone that would be interested in running the Simply for Life clinic, and I was like, oh my God, me.
Pick me.
Me. And that was a Sunday morning. That Sunday night, my husband Jeremy and I met with she and her husband, and a week later not even a week, it was the following Friday we took it over. So it really happened fast. Wow. And I tell people all the time, like, if you've got a chance and you're not really sure what you want to do with your life and you've got a bit of a chance, like I had a severance package, and I told my husband, I said, you know, we're freshly married, we're probably going to have kids here in the next 2 years. I really just want to take this winter and feel it out, see what's out there. I don't want to just jump into another design job doing the same thing I was doing. I really didn't like it. It was too high pressure, a lot of just tension and anxiety, and I didn't like it, and it's not what I was meant to do. So I'm really happy with how things have kind of developed, and I'm truly happy with where I am.
How scary was it for you to move on from an industry that you know? Not that you didn't know much, because I know you were active. Like, you did yoga as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
and some other things.
At that point, I had been teaching yoga for about a year and a half. I think maybe. I think I started teaching that fall, so maybe not quite a year and a half. And then when I got laid off, I started taking my personal training certification, which I've since given up because the nutrition part has kind of taken off, and I enjoyed that more. So I gave up my certification, which I still enjoy it, but I've partnered up with another couple of trainers that do it much better than I did, so it kind of works out. They take on that part, and I can really focus on what I like, which is the nutrition aspect of it.
So how scary was it for you to be in one industry and be like, well, I'm going to start this brand new thing? Because I think a lot of people, they want to try something else in their lives. They want to move on. Maybe they don't enjoy their job, or maybe they very much dislike it, but they're scared to move on to something else. Tell us about that.
Well, like I said, the decision to leave my previous job in design was kind of made for me. But at the time, even then, I kind of smiled when they said, you know what, we've got to let you go. And I was like, you know what, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to do something with this. And I had no fear. My husband had a really great job, and I knew I'd be supported that way. And whether I would have ran into the owner of Simply for Life at the time down the road, and she would have said the same thing, maybe that would have happened that way, and that would have been the push that I needed. But it wasn't scary at all. And I think it's because I really felt that it was something that I was meant to do. And I really do love what I do.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I can stress that enough.
So you're trying to say you enjoy your job?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to get into some details of the show, the meat and potatoes, so to speak. I'm going to be talking to Mila about counting calories. Let's get controversial here. And if you want to follow us on social media, head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/trueformlife. This is where we put up recipes, workout videos, motivation tips, and more. Stay right there. We'll be right back on Exploring Mind and Body. I want to take a moment to tell you about the Sunshine House Financial Center right here in Sussex. Because you take your health seriously. You set goals and make a plan to reach your health and fitness targets. Have you thought about a plan to help you reach your financial targets? Whether you're dreaming of retirement, saving for your child's education, or protecting your family in the event of death, disability, or serious illness, Sunshine House Financial Center has the financial security planning solutions to help you reach your goals. A goal without a plan is just wishful thinking. What's your plan? Contact us today and we'll help you develop a financial plan for you, your family, or your business suited for your lifestyle and budget. Starting today, you can lay a solid foundation for your financial independence. Call 433-4588 to speak to Greg, Jane, or Edward Keith. They're looking forward to hearing from you. So, all right, we want to get into some of these topics here because we're kind of on the same page with, well, everything that I know so far about you. Tell us, let's just get into counting calories because it's like something that it takes over the industry and people's minds.
I think there's certain times that discussing calories is important because, I mean, they're necessary. It's when people start to see calories as something to be feared and something that's dangerous to our health that becomes an issue. And I always hear on the news and on CBC that they're advertising that, oh, this restaurant now announces calories. And it's like, why? Why wouldn't you rather show people your ingredients rather than the calories? So I'll give you an example. I had a lady at one point, she came in one day and we had these, they're right here, actually, hold on. We had these cookies on the shelf. I had brought them in for my son, who's almost 3, and they're like a low sugar cookie. So she saw them on the shelf and she's like, how many calories per cookie? And I said, why does that matter? And she's like, excuse me? And I said, why does the calorie count matter to you? I'm just curious. And she said, well, isn't that what you look for in food? And I said, no. I said, I'll give you an example. So I started listing off the ingredients to her, and it's like oats, organic spelt flour, pure sunflower oil, all these ingredients that you know what they are. So for 2 cookies, how many calories? 160. So then I said, would you rather eat something like this, or would you rather eat, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, the Special K. Sobeys has them. They're these little bars, and they come in a package of 2, 90 calories. Guess what? You can't pronounce half of the ingredients. So you're eating chemicals, it's not even food. I say it's food in parentheses.
Yeah, I'm in the same way. And we used to go to trade shows with Complete Truth Protein and do that whole kind of business in a different way. And one of the things people would come by, I remember this one story that I'll never forget, and these people are coming by with these bag of chips. I don't know if they were blowing them out or if they were super cheap, but everyone had like 2 bags of chips in a plastic bag, and they would come by. And after a while, you stand there long enough. If you've done trade shows, you know what I mean. And you'll talk to anyone that'll listen to you. And I would start to say, like, what's in those chips? Like, what do you have there? Oh, chips. And I said, well, what's in them? Like, what kind of ingredients? They said, I don't know. Like, someone would say, I don't know, they're gluten-free. And then someone else would say, I don't know, they're only 100 calories per serving. And I would say, well, what's in the calories? And of course, no one had any idea. But when I asked them if I could look at the bag, then of course it was 25 different ingredients with all kinds of toxins and preservatives and things that our body can't recognize, utilize, absorb, like all kinds of junk. But we're so focused on those calories that are counting calories, that there's 100 in each serving, and we don't realize that we're putting these toxins in our body that help us function improperly, I suppose.
Yeah, it's completely missing the point, and I think that's the basis of all these diseases that we're seeing now that we weren't seeing 50, 100 years ago. It's all these inflammatory diseases. It's our body trying to digest all these foods that really aren't food.
You know what we should do? We should start counting ingredients instead of calories.
Good idea.
There's only so many ingredients. You toss it out.
Yeah, if there's over like 15, then it's not good.
Well, when we start working with people, we do recipes, grocery shopping lists, and similar. I know you guys do a lot of nutrition stuff. But when we say go to the grocery store and start reading ingredients, then our clients say, well, it takes so much longer to go grocery shopping. which is true, but then you know what's in your food. And then the other aspect is that what we like to bring up is once you start to know name brands and once you start to pick up packages and read them, you know what sections to go to, what to avoid. And you can actually go through the grocery store quite quickly. But you know what you're putting in your body and what you're putting in your grocery cart. All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about BMI with Mila Maxwell. This is another controversial subject. Some people like to use it, and I think many people don't, and we'll tell you why coming up. And if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, you can contact Dorothy Keith, a part of our True Form team. That's going to be at TrueFormLife/Healthy Lifestyle Coaching with Dorothy. Stay right there. Be right back on Exploring Mind and Body. I want to take a moment to tell you about Complete Truth Protein. Now, Complete Truth Protein is a whole food supplement. This means it's made with whole foods, being quinoa and hemp parts. Many times when we look at conventional supplements, our body has a difficult time absorbing, digesting, and utilizing all the nutrients, which is why I always prefer and suggest whole foods. So if you look at Complete Truth Protein, it's a plant-based product. It's gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, and GMO-free. It's also a raw product. So we're looking at all kinds of ways to improve your health that's going to be easy to utilize, digest, and absorb, and more than anything, burn off as energy. The very first thing customers tell us is they can't believe how much more energy they have from adding Complete Truth Protein to their smoothies. So head over to hempy.ca/CTP. Now, if you want 15% off, all you have to do is enter in EM&B in the discount code. hempy.ca/CTP. So let's talk about BMI. Here's another big one that we agree with. This is called Body Mass Index for our listeners. And it's something that I don't know who goes. Do doctors go by it?
Doctors, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. How do you feel about how this works?
I don't agree with it at all. I think it gives people a false sense of where they should be. It messes with people's emotions, and it really makes them doubt what they're doing. And I have a quote on the wall behind me that says, "Your best weight is whatever weight you reach when you're living the healthiest life that you actually enjoy." So if someone comes in and they're a certain height and they feel that they should be at a certain number on the scale and they're maybe 10, 15 pounds away from that, and they've really come a long way with their weight loss, and they're eating well, they're feeling balanced, they feel like they still can have a social life, that's what I want clients to achieve when they come here. And I've been straight up with clients before that if they're strictly here for weight loss, I don't want to work with them. There's other programs out there that can offer quick weight loss. This is not a quick weight loss program, and that's not my approach.
For me, because I've been an athlete my whole life, and I carry more, I would say, I don't know, maybe more muscle mass than the average person, or not average person, but whatever the BMI dictates that too. At any rate, I was always overweight. Like that, it didn't matter what kind of shape I was in. The BMI would always tell me that I'm overweight.
Yeah, which you're totally not.
And then, but if you look at someone that really isn't sure that like this is a false type of measurement, then they're always thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm overweight, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe I need to gain weight, when in fact you're at a healthy weight for yourself.
Yeah, and people don't need more things to fret about. They don't need to worry about calories. They don't need to worry about body mass index. They really should be focusing on the way that they're feeling. So that's why I also take their inches, because it gives them sort of for the clients that are motivated by numbers, it gives them a non-scale way to measure.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about weighing yourself and why you should throw away your scale. And if you want more details on a proper detox, many times we're looking at detox our body that does more harm than good. We have a program for you to help out that's going to lead you through a proper detox that's based around whole food. That's going to be at detox.trueformlife.com. Stay right there. We'll be right back on Exploring Mind and Body. Have you heard? Lifestyles Fitness is moving. Visit their new Health and Wellness Center, moving to 1032 Main Street at the former Legion location, with their grand reopening on Friday, June 30th from 9 to 9. Open to all with door prizes, refreshments, and tours. New services at the new location include metabolic training classes, services such as aesthetics, Reiki, reflexology, and more. Their contact number is 832-4848. Yeah, I want to get into weighing yourself, because for me, like, I don't teach weighing yourself in any way, shape, or form. I know you guys are a bit different, and I wish we
weren't. I wish we didn't have to. I really don't like it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is something that we've seen a lot as well, because many times you see someone that feels great, like you can see them glowing, they're happier, they fit in their clothes better, and then they step on the scale and all of that's erased because they're only focused on those numbers. And regardless of if they go up or down, the meal you had, how much hydration, how hydrated you are, or water intake or fluids, I mean, regardless, all those little factors are erased when you step on that scale and see a number that you don't want to see.
And even if it's only a quarter pound, I had a lady come in here years ago, and she had beat cancer. She was in the best health that she had been in a long time. She came in, we had our chat, because I usually try to weigh clients at the end of the appointment, so that way if they are up, I can say, hey, what about all the good stuff that you just told me? Like, what's going on with that? You're just going to let that go because this thing said something different? So she had come in, she had said, I had a really great week, I feel awesome. She was up a quarter pound, and she was devastated. And I said, are you serious? You're going to let that quarter pound? That could be nothing. That could be urine. Go have a pee and come back. So I've since put this on our scale, and it says, the scale can only give you a numerical reflection of your relationship with gravity. That's it. It cannot measure beauty, talent, purpose, strength, or love. So I know some people might find that corny, but I'm really trying to teach people to not step on the scale every day. And if they come in and they say, you know what, it's my time of the month, I really didn't have a great week, I don't want to step on the scale, I don't make them. Because to me, it's not important. They know that they feel poorly. They know they've eaten poorly. So if they can focus on the way that they're feeling rather than what the number says, then we go by that.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes down to it, like, we want to, I don't know if it, like, our main goal when we want to lose weight, it's not losing weight. It's about feeling better, like more confident in our clothes, or fitting in better clothes, for example, or having more confidence. It rarely has anything to do with weight, and it's all about how you feel and how you walk around. So if we could focus on that, unfortunately, there's no tangible way to be like, oh, no one feels excited to be like, I'm a 9 today. Like, I feel great. They want to see the numbers drop. So if we could find a way to measure happiness, we make a whole lot of money and help a whole lot of people. You want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yes, it's a challenge. I think everyone in the industry goes through it. And unfortunately, there's a good part of the industry that is like that. Like, oh, we have to weigh, and it's all about that weight loss, which I think kind of ruins it for so many people that are happy and healthy and are still focused on those numbers.
And I really do think that that's why we get so many people that have basically tried everything, and this is kind of the end of the line for them, because they've heard from other people that it does work, because that is our approach. At least it's mine, that I really don't focus on that stuff. like I've got this wonderful older couple that comes in. I think they're in their mid-60s, early 70s. They are on no medication. They are always on the go. They're socializing. I think the husband's lost about 30, 40 pounds, and the wife has lost, 20, 25. And every week, the female client is discouraged. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not on any blood pressure medication. You're still living at home. You've managed to lose close to 30 pounds, which is not, it's really kind of unheard of at that age because, everything slows down after menopause. And so I keep reminding this particular client, like, you have really done fantastic. I wish you could see it. And I remind them too, like, you can only lose so much weight. You're not going to get back to your birth weight. I'm sorry. So it's really finding that time and really teaching clients to say, okay, I'm at a healthy weight, and I'm feeling quite well, and that's what I want people to be happy about.
What are some of the things that we can do to maybe you mentioned inches and measuring with a measuring tape? I think that's a much more accurate way. Is that something that you can do weekly with your clients, or is that something that some of our listeners could do at home every couple of weeks if they need something tangible?
I think, not every week. I do it usually every 4 to 6, but don't do it without coupling with better eating and exercise. And I think that's what we see a lot of times with people that get on the scale. They hop on the scale without really changing anything, or they eat well for a week and then get on the scale expecting to be down 10 pounds, and it's not the way it works. It just doesn't work that way. They're expecting almost like, okay, almighty piece of metal, I'm going to hop on you and you're going to, grant all my wishes. It's like, no, it's like, stop giving the scale so much friggin' power.
Is this something that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
Tell me about.
Can you tell?
Tell me about not being so hard on yourself. I mean, just exactly what we're talking about. There's so many people that do fantastic things and make life changes, but still they're so hard on themselves that they can't even see how well they're doing.
Yeah, that's something that I've had to really, really unlearn. And I look back to when I was growing up, and I think it may have been not dissing how I was raised, but I grew up in a I wouldn't say a strict household. My parents trusted me. They allowed me to basically do whatever I wanted because I had earned their trust, and I didn't want to lose that. But my dad he was well known in the community. He used to be a member of parliament, so he had always said, people know who we are. Basically, don't do anything stupid. So I was really hard on myself from a young age, so that if I did screw up, I really took it hard, and I was really beating myself up about it. So that's probably something in the last year that I've really, I can be confident and say I've come a really long way. And I think that it's really helped clients see that too, because they can better relate. Because I think if you're in this industry and you're seen as someone that doesn't screw up, doesn't have the occasional treat, doesn't ever make mistakes, that's not something that can be mirrored. So to be a role model, I think you really have to show people that you too have flaws. And it makes you much more approachable.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about where your focus is and how to get rid of negative thoughts. Mila's got a pretty cool story she's going to share with you here shortly. And if you want to get more into fermented foods and gut health, we have a free kombucha workshop on our Trueform page. So go to trueformlife.com/how-to-make-kombucha. It's a 2-part video series that's absolutely free to get you going in the right direction with fermented foods and gut health. Stay right there. Be right back on Exploring Mind and Body. I want to take a moment to tell you about Detoxify Yourself. Now, Detoxify Yourself is really a personal story that I put together in a book for my clients and family and those interested in how I teach to live a healthy lifestyle. I had no idea it would become a bestseller in a major city, Calgary, Alberta, where I grew up. I was on Global News, and I want to share more about it with you right now. So Detoxify Yourself talks about the main food substances that I choose to avoid, which is no gluten, dairy, soy, or GMOs. So this is a 30-day meal plan that avoids all those substances. It also talks about the toxins not only we put in our body, but we put on our body as well. and the toxins we surround ourselves with, like a toxic environment. So if you want more details about detoxify yourself, if you want a kickstart on how to avoid these toxic substances, I have all the recipes laid out for you. I have all the information. It's very simple and easy to follow. So head over to trueformlife.com for more details.
Getting rid of negative thoughts. And I've worked with certain clients that have low self-esteem on doing just that. So I'll say, if you walk by a mirror and you catch a glimpse of yourself and you're like, oh, my butt's so big. And it's like, why not turn it around and say, wow, my butt looks really great today. Or, wow, I look really great in this skirt, or just something. So just really taking that and making it into a positive, and really learning to, as corny as it sounds, to love ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, or finding things that we can appreciate about ourselves. And there's like little things that are cliche, or things that we may have heard before, but just looking in the mirror and appreciating something, or a gratitude journal of writing the things that you can appreciate about yourself. I think that changes your whole mindset. And it's one of those things that, I don't know if it sounds too easy or too tedious or time consuming, but it's something that could change our lives, our confidence, our perspective, and most of us just don't do it.
Yeah, and I've had all these conversations with clients, and when last winter, so it would have been the winter of 2016, one of our biggest industries here in Sussex closed down, so the potash mine. We had just bought this brand spanking new house. We were running our business out of it. And within 3 weeks of taking it over, the mine closed. So I was stressed. I was worried. I said, oh my God, are we going to go out of business? Are all these people going to call and want their money back and want to quit the program? And I was chatting with Bruce, who is the founder of Simply for Life. And he said, you're focusing on all the wrong things. You're focusing on all the bad things that could happen. And he had me start a gratitude journal. And I do it occasionally. But for about a month and a half, 2 months, I wrote down 3 things every day that I was thankful for. And the things that we focus on, we'll get more of. So if we focus on the bad things, we're going to get more bad things. But if we focus on the good stuff, as corny as it sounds, we're going to get more good stuff. So if you focus on a body part or an aspect of yourself that's good, you're going to attract more good things.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you're looking at buying a new car, for example, or like a certain type of, let's just say a black SUV, and that's what you are thinking about, all these SUVs, these black ones, they start popping up, and there's not any more of them. We just start to notice them more. So if we're always thinking about negative things, then negative things are going to keep popping up in our life. But if we change our focus to more positive things, they're always there. We're surrounded by positive things all the time. We just fail to see them. So just like you're saying, if you could focus on some of those positive things, more will come to you. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, all these things, where'd all these positive things come from? Mila, tell me about what you guys are doing there at your clinic, how we can get a hold of you, and maybe anything that you have coming up in the near future.
Well, we're located in Sussex, New Brunswick, and we recently are, I guess not recently, but about a year and a half ago, we opened a little clinic in Hampton, New Brunswick, which is about 20 minutes from here towards St. John. And we kind of just opened it up to give it a try and see how people would be drawn to it. So we're moving into a new location there at the end of the month with Jen, who I think you recently interviewed. So, people can call us 506-433-5911, or you can send me an email at mila.maxwell, maxwell, at simplyforlife.com.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. I want to thank Mila for coming on and bringing up some difficult subjects that could be controversial, and I know it's not always easy to talk about these types of things in a different mindset or an outside-the-box kind of way of thinking. So I appreciate her coming on and sharing her insights and expertise of how she feels and how she teaches. I also want to mention our free 10-day fitness challenge. If you're interested, head over to trueformlife.com. On the main page there, we're going to show you how to get together and put together a proper fitness routine in 10 days. We send out 10 different workouts, full body weight exercises, no equipment required. All you do is enter your email address and we send you a brand new workout each day. You can find all these past shows on exploringmindandbody.com. We also have a free app that you can download on any Apple device so you never miss a show or take the show with you wherever you go. We're also on Google Play if you don't have an Apple device and you're on an Android. And I'm going to leave you with that. Once again, thank you so much for being here. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Taddia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Taddia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.